Hey, everybody, welcome to Jen Lowry Writes. As you can see, we're here for the Writing Warriors for Jesus conference. This is our fall author conference. It's been a 2-day event, and right now I'm very excited to introduce to you Lauren Barrett. Lauren Barrett was born in New Jersey. She grew up in West Virginia, went to college in Pennsylvania, and now lives and works in North Carolina. She's a high school teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing by day, a cross-country coach by the afternoon, a writer by her son's nap times, and a full-time mom to an amazing toddler. She loves her faith, running, visiting MLB stadiums with her husband, chocolate, scrapbooking, and pretending she would actually do well on The Amazing Race, rewatching The Office, listening to Bobby Bones, and helping all moms. She lives in North Carolina with her husband, James, and her son, Henry. You can check her out on Facebook at Lauren Barrett Writes, and I'm going to add all of her social media links in the chat so you guys can go out and connect with this awesome lady. I'm so happy that I know her. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thanks, Jen, for inviting me to speak today. I'm really excited to be here.
All right. I'm dropping out. You're in.
Okay. All right. So today we are going to be talking about 5 ways to increase traffic to your blog. These are 5 ways that really have helped me drive people to my website and my blog and to get them to read it and to share it. But first, a little bit about me. Go to the next slide. As Jen said, I'm Lauren Barrett. I'm a blogger at Lauren Barrett Writes, and you can find me on Pinterest, and Instagram is where I hang out mostly at Lauren Barrett Writes. As Jen said, I describe myself as a multi-passionate mom. I have been a teacher for the deaf and hard of hearing for 11 years now. I've coached cross country for 10 years. I'm a mom to a 2.5-year-old boy named Henry. I'm an avid reader, love reading all the time, writer, blogger. I started Lauren Barrett Writes during the pandemic and just have been growing it ever since. Last year, with Jen's help, much appreciated, I published my first book ever. It's called the Add One a Day 30-Day Challenge. And right now I am working on my first children's book, and it should be out pretty soon. And I'm really excited about that. Okay, so let's get into our first way is how to drive traffic to your blog is by doing or making freebies. So freebies are high valuable content that you can get your audience to give their email to. So out on the web and blogs, there's already tons of free things that your audience can get. A freebie is something that they'll actually give their email for. So you really want it to be valuable content. And you might hear freebies and you might think there might be other names for it. So when we talk about freebies, we can also refer to it as a lead magnet. Some people call it a call to action or an opt-in. So freebie is anything you can give to your audience for free, or it could be an easy yes offer. So an easy yes offer is anything under $20. And a freebie is helping to serve a pain point for your audience. So when you think about your audience, you really want to think about who they are and what their pain points and problems are. So before I even start making my freebie, I really want to narrow down who my audience is. So I have a parenting website, but parenting is too broad. You want to go even more specific than that. So I start with parenting and then I narrow it down to moms in particular. But even moms is still too broad. You really want to narrow it down even more. So I narrow down my audience to first-time moms of toddlers. So once I have my audience in mind, then you're going to want to write down all your audience's pain points. So what are their problems? What are their pain points? And a lot of times for first-time moms of toddlers, it's temper tantrums. My kid is learning how to potty train. My kid won't eat his food. And I just list them all out. And then for each of those problems, I want to think about how I can help them solve those problems. And once I think of some solutions, that's when I can go ahead and create my freebie to address those problems. At first, I was doing too many freebies. I was making a freebie for everything. But that is too many. Just kind of want to stick to 3 or 4 different freebies and really try to sell those freebies in particular. So I listed over here some different types of freebies. Let me move over here. Okay, right here. You can make a checklist, printables, PDFs, a course, a video, a guide or an ebook, a service, could be a one-on-one phone call, quiz, those are a lot of fun, and I'll show you mine in just a bit, email challenge, a kit or a worksheet. So let me show you some of my freebies right here. So I have a checklist right here. And this is just a checklist for what to do if your baby's crying during the night, what to do if your toddler's having a tantrum, what to do if your toddler won't eat, what to do during a meltdown. And it's just a running checklist of everything that parents could do, because sometimes when your child is crying or throwing a tantrum, you can't always think. So then you can have a checklist that you print out and you can refer to it. Oh, okay, I can do this, do this, do this. So that's one of my freebies. Let me show you another one. I do a video right here. I have a sign language resource video, how to teach your toddlers sign language to help them with their feelings. And in this freebie, I have 15 videos teaching the sign language for happy, sad, and then after that, I have some activities to do with that. Okay. And then my favorite to make, these are a lot of fun, is you can make a quiz as your freebie. And I use a site called Interact, and it's free to use. So I made this quiz. It's what's your mom temperature right now, and you just take the quiz, and you at the end you find out what type of mom you are. So that was a fun one to make. And then I have an email challenge right here. It's a 30-day challenge, just some lifestyle change, and this was based off of the book I wrote. And this is, since it's $5, I would refer to as an easy yes offer. So it's pretty much like a freebie. So those are some examples of my freebies. Go to the next slide on this example. Okay, so where do you put your freebies? You want to put them kind of everywhere. On social media, you can advertise them on Instagram. You make 5 different Pinterest pins for your freebies and put them on Pinterest, Facebook page, Facebook group. What I do is I join all of these Facebook groups, moms with toddlers, moms raising toddlers, all of them. And then I just kind of scroll through once a week and answer some of their questions that these moms have. And at the end, after I answer the question, I drop a link to my freebie. So I'm not coming off as too salesy, but I answer the question and then put the freebie right in there. And so I've gotten a lot of people getting the freebie just by doing that. Other places, I put them all over my blog, on my homepage, in the actual blogs I write. I have links to my freebies. In my author bio, I put it there. And then other people's blogs. If you are someone else's blog and you comment on it, again, after your comment, put a link to your freebie. It's just easy ways for your audience to get your freebie. Okay, so once you made your freebie, the next thing that you want to do is make a landing page. And the landing page is kind of like where you are doing your selling, but you do not want to come off too salesy, like kind of like a used car salesman who's always yelling in your face and everything is an exclamation point. That's what you kind of want to stay away with when you are making your landing page. Like, yeah, you don't want to be like this guy. You ever see those info commercials where everything is popping, there's tons of pop-ups and it's like, buy now, the offer is almost over. When you go to make a landing page, you definitely want to stay away from that, all the in-your-face type stuff. Instead, you're going to treat your landing page like you treat your freebie. Find a problem, understand the pain problems, offer a solution, and then communicate the desired outcomes. And I'll show you some examples in a few minutes. I use a website called ConvertKit where I can make these freebies in. ConvertKit has a free plan. I use the paid one right now, but you can make these landing pages for completely free in ConvertKit. So some different headlines or formulas you can use is you start with a question. Worried you'll never have, and then you want to put your audience's desired outcomes. So for example, for moms, new moms, you might say something like, worried you'll never have freedom. But again, you want to be very specific because freedom can mean many things. You really want to think about what does a first-time mom worry about? And it could say something like, worried you'll never enjoy a cup of coffee in the morning again, because that's something a first-time mom might miss. Busy, having a child, and she just wants to drink a cup of coffee again in the morning in peace. So that's a way you can frame it as a question. You can have a solution, how to turn your problem into desired outcome. So for example, how to turn your toddler's tears into smiles in under a minute. It's a very specific problem and solution. Another way to do it is empathy, feeling, and then you want to put two of your audience's pain points in there. A fourth way is action. You're ready to accomplish the desired outcome with your free offer. You can relate, feeling, pain point, I was like you too. So the audience knows, oh, okay, this is someone who's gone through the same exact thing that I have. I can relate to them now. And again, lastly, you can make it very specific. Stop wasting time scrolling through Instagram with this freebie. Okay. Also, when you are making your landing pages, you want to stick with your brand colors. And I'm going to show you an example right here. Okay. So here is mine. It's the landing page for the mom quiz I have. And I like to stick with the pinks. I really like pink and gray and that kind of look. So whenever I make my freebie or my landing page, it all follows that same color. So that's this one. Also, you want your audience to kind of get to know you, and that means including pictures of you. So I have one here. I have a picture of me, and this is my logo, and then I include a picture of my son. And again, as you can see, I follow that my brand colors, the pinks and the grays, and it's all kind of uniform on that. And then lastly, write in your style of voice. So when your audience reads it, they want to feel like they're having a conversation with you. It's easy to tell if you are just kind of typing like a robot and you are copying and pasting something. So when you write your landing pages, you want it to kind of be like you're having a conversation with a friend. Again, here's an example of one of my landing pages for a freebie I have. And again, I stick with the pinks and the grays, and that's that. Okay. Finally, the most important thing is, if you want to really make a big impact with your landing pages, is to make it all about your audience. So change I statements to you statements. And so instead of, I have a great offer, I have this great freebie, change it to, your problems will be solved with this great offer. Your problems will be solved with my freebie. So it's all focused on the audience. Like, oh, okay, I feel like this person is caring about me because they're making it all about me. And that's what you want to do when you create your landing pages. Okay, so you got your freebie. You made a landing page for your freebie. Where's all this stuff going? And that's ultimately going to your email list, which is very important to getting people to go to your blog. I feel like for me, it's one of the most important things that I can have to get people back to my blog, which is the ultimate goal, is to nurture and grow your email list to gain traffic to your blog. Okay. Let me go to the next page. So people don't hate getting emails. They hate getting bad emails. And that is so true. We get tons of emails every day that I just delete. But I love when I get that really good email from somebody that I trust. And that's ultimately what we want to do with our email list. And this is a quote by Kate Doster. So if you're interested in learning more about email marketing, I highly recommend anything by her. She's helped me grow my email list and my blog traffic by a lot. So anything by her, I recommend. So this is what it kind of looks like, our roadmap with our freebie and our landing page and our email list. So what happens first is that someone signs up for your freebie. Once they sign up for your freebie, they are automatically added to your email list. Once they're automatically added to your email list, they will get an email prompting them to download your freebie. And with ConvertKit, you can set that up as an automation so you don't have to lift a finger. So it all happens automatically. Someone signs up for my freebie, they get an email showing them how to download the freebie. Then the next day, they are going to receive day one of my welcome series. And a welcome series is really important for building your email list. It's about 5 to 10 days of email where you are really nurturing your audience and building a relationship with them. So day one, they get an email welcoming them to and then introducing them to who I am. I say what they can expect from me. I have a link to my social media pages. I have a link to my blog. I have some pictures of me in there. I tell a story. I just build that connection. Then on day 3 to 4 is where you can introduce a paid offer that you might have. Do you have a book? Do you have a service? Do you have a course? And that's kind of where you're starting to say, hey, okay, you already trust me, you already know me. I also have this offer. But that's all. You're going to just mention it one time in that email, and then you're kind of move on. So if we want to get technical, you can have it so if that paid offer that they get in day 3 or 4, you have a link to it. If they click on that link, ConvertKit can trigger something, which is called a tag, and it can move them over so they can get a sales funnel for your paid product. So a sales funnel is different than a welcome series, where a welcome series is building that relationship with your audience. A sales funnel is those people that are interested in your paid product, but they haven't quite taken the next step to buy it. What a sales funnel does is kind of gently nudges them or pushes them to buy it. And again, that's all automatic. So someone clicks on the link to one of my paid products, but doesn't quite buy it, in about a day or 2, they're going to get a few other emails kind of leading them to that paid product. Because I read somewhere that it takes almost telling someone 8 times before that person actually goes and do it. So that's what a sales funnel is doing. It's saying, hey, here's my paid offer. Here's my paid offer. Here's why you should buy it. But it's doing it in a very non-salesy way. Anyways, that's a whole different topic for another time. But back to the welcome series. So day 5 to 10 of your welcome series is where you want to include several links to your blog. And this is where you're going to build up the trust. Why should they trust you? What authority do you have? How much knowledge do you have? And that's where you're going to include links to your blog to get them to read your stuff in your blog. And finally, when they're finished with the welcome series, it's when they will get your weekly or monthly newsletter. So you still want to keep in touch with your audience. You don't want to finish the welcome series and then they never hear from you again. You want to keep emailing them consistently and including links to your blog so they can build up trust with you. And don't worry, people will unsubscribe. They might just want the freebie and then they'll hit the unsubscribe button. That's okay. The first time it happened to me, I was like, oh no. I was just like, took it really personally. But then I learned that even the experts have people unsubscribe to their email list. And that's okay. You want to build an audience that wants to be there, not someone that just came for the freebie and then left. So that kind of, let me show you an example of what it looks like in ConvertKit. So this is my sign language freebie up here. So if anybody signs up to that landing page we talked about, ConvertKit automatically triggers that. So that will lead them to, this is my sign language welcome series. They will go through that. And then after about 5 days, you can make a delay. They will then come into this, it's called the Authority Builder. It's like day 5 through 10 of my welcome series where I'm showing how much I know about sign language and building that credibility and trust. So that's what it looks like in ConvertKit. And you can set it up like that, and then you never have to lift a finger again. Okay, so ultimately the process is like this. You have your blog. On your blog, you have your freebie. Your freebie goes to your landing page. Your landing page takes them to their email list, and your email list ultimately takes them back to your blog. And it just keeps cycling through like that. And it's that easy. Yeah, because you just want them to get from your email list to the blog, from your blog back to your email list. And just the cycle keeps going back and forth. Okay. The fourth way you can gain traffic to your blog is through social media. And social media platforms are a great way to drive traffic to your blog. Why? Because right now there are 3.96 billion users on social media, and people spend an average of 1,300 hours every year on social media. So it makes complete sense that you are advertising your blog on social media. Some tips for using social media. Again, this is you want to think about your audience. Who is your audience and where do they hang out? I have found that moms, first-time moms, millennial moms, which I am, they like to hang out on Instagram and Pinterest. So I decided to focus on those two the most. I have a Twitter, I have a YouTube page, I have a Facebook page. I don't have Snapchat or TikTok. I have not wanted to get into TikTok yet. I'm a little scared of that. But I have all those pages, but if I spend time trying to do it all, I'll just spread my. And then after you decide to pick your two, learn from the experts. I am not an expert in Instagram. I am not an expert in Pinterest, but every week I try to watch a new video about Pinterest or a new video about Instagram and see what I can learn. And then after that, you want to kind of have a consistent plan. So you don't want to post on Instagram every day for a month and then suddenly stop because you're burnt out, which is it's too much to do. Instead, you want to have a consistent plan. At first, I was just posting on Instagram once a week. I wasn't doing any of the reels. I wasn't doing any really of the stories. I was just doing one post a week, and I would post on the same day every week. And now I'm up to 3 times a week, but it's consistent. My audience knows when they can hear from me. And so that's what you want to do is have a consistent plan for whichever one of these you use. And then finally, at the end, you want to have a call to action. So at the end of an Instagram post or maybe a Facebook post, what do you want your audience to do? Do you want them to join your email list? You want them to save your post, comment on it, have a conversation with it, visit your blog, share with a friend? Just let your audience know. So I might say, did you like this? Share with a friend or save it for later. Every week I do what's called a Tuesday tip about parenting. And at the end I say, do you like this post? Did you like this tip? If you want to have more tips, join my email list. And then I have a link where they can go and join my email list. So always have something at the end, letting your audience know what you want them to do. Some people are like, oh, I feel like too salesy with that. But no, you'll be amazed at once you start asking people what you want them to do, they will do it. Okay, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of how I do my Instagram page. So I kind of follow a 3-day pattern. And as you can see, I'm still using my brand colors, the pink, and like the browns. And I use a Canva template and I do a Tuesday tips and I set it up like this. And I just use the same template every week, but just change the color and the picture and then the tip right here. And the same thing for Thursday. I do what's called a Thursday terminology. And I just follow the same template and change it up each week. And then every Sunday I post a picture with a link to my latest blog. So that is my 3-day plan. And I will show you my Pinterest page. I pin about 15 fresh pins a week. And it's all follows the same colors, the pinks and the grays, as I do across all of my sites. Okay. So finally, the last thing that you can do is to gain traffic to your blog is guest blogging. So blog on other people's sites to get link backs, exposure, and a new audience. At first, I was like, oh, I want to save all my blogs for just my site. Because I want people to go to my blog and my website. But with guest blogging, it opens up doors for a whole new audience. So people might see your blogs on other people's sites and think, oh, I like what she has to say, and they'll go over onto your blog. Because most people you guest blog for are happy to include links to your website and all your social medias at the end. So it's a great way to get a new audience and more exposure. For example, the site Pop Sugar, I sent them a post. I decided to guest post for them. It was probably like 6 months later, I heard back from them and they said, yeah, we would love to publish that. And they also asked me to be a regular paid contributor. So not only was I able to guest blog for them, but they were willing to pay me. And then that led to other people reading my stuff because Pop Sugar has a large audience, and other people started reading my stuff, and they would contact me or email me and asking for an interview, or one NFL player's wife. She wrote a sign language book and she wanted to know my expert opinion. And then she featured me on her Instagram page, and she often includes links to my blog. And she has a big audience on Instagram. So that got me a whole new audience going to my blog. And she even offered to so that has been huge. So guest blogging could open up doors to a whole new avenue. So definitely suggest guest blogging. Okay, so if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all of that, I always like to break things down to a little bit over time. So I have a suggested timeline over 1 year. So if this is something that you're interested in doing, I suggest first starting with researching who your audience is and knowing everything there is to know about them, and take notes while you do that. So who is your audience? Get very specific. Where did they hang out? What are their pain problems? What are some solutions to their pain problems? Once you have all of that down, then that's when you can start the next month making your 2 to 4 freebies to address your audience pain points. And remember, with your freebies, you really want to get creative, valuable content that will make someone give their email address. Because people don't give their email addresses to just anything. So we already get tons of emails. We don't want any more emails. So the next month to do that. And then after you make your freebies, that's when you can focus on making your landing pages to sell your freebies. After that, you maybe want to work on a welcome series for your email list. Then advertise your freebies all over social media. Then summer months, you could start picking what social media sites you want to use, and then develop a plan to consistently engage on that site. After that, you might want to reach out to a few people asking if you can guest blog on their sites. And then if you really want to get adventurous, you can create a paid product or service. Then after that, you can create a sales funnel on your email list. And then by November, you want to be emailing your list consistently with a newsletter or insider scoop. And then finally, you want to advertise your paid product on social media, blogs, and your guest sites. And that is a good timeline to follow. And lastly, I just kind of have my weekly planner here if you're looking for inspiration of how I go about email marketing and blogging. Great. Does anyone have any questions? Like I said, you can find me at Lauren Barrett Writes, and my email address is laurenbarrettwrites.com. And I have a link to some freebies if you just want to see how I set them up, what my welcome series looks like, and what the freebies look like. And that's it. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, we have tons of questions. The chat's been going up. We've been taking notes. I know I have. I've been taking screenshots of your timeline and your freebie list. Mm-hmm. So we have the first question that's just popped up now. What do you think about inviting others to be guests on your own blog?
Yeah, I've heard that as a good strategy as well. You just want to build those connections instead of thinking as of someone who's in the same niche as you as competition. Think of them as a friend and help them. You can both help build each other up. Definitely. Mm-hmm.
And so when you've reached out to some of the other blogs, one of the questions that I was having in my head, like, what approach did you take? Did you send them a press kit? Did you send them links to what you have to offer? How did you, or did you have an article already written, like this is a pitch? How did you do that?
So a lot of the sites have the step-by-step guidelines of what they're looking for. Some just want you to pitch them, give like a 5-sentence blurb of what your article is going to be about. And then they want you to include links to some of your previous work so they can get an idea of the style of your voice. And then some want you to actually send the full already written article.
And so it's just based on wherever you, and you're just going out and Googling?
Yeah, I have a list of like 100 and some different parenting websites that I found. Yeah, I've just researched and found.
Nice. And so you're also like Chicken Soup for the Soul. You can talk about that too. Like you're always trying to diversify where you are.
Yeah. Chicken Soup for the Soul has lots of opportunities for writers. I think they have like 12 different writing prompts coming up and I just pitched them an idea and they liked it and they accepted it. Yeah.
So I love that. It's almost like that whole no fear concept. You're just going after there, honoring the words.
Yes. I am not afraid of rejection. I probably can reject it so many times, but I mean, the ones that you get accepted to make it worth it.
Exactly. Love that attitude. All right. So we had a question from Eli. He said, how do you know which freebie is working best and which one is not?
That's the great thing about ConvertKit is that they keep track of all the analytics. They keep track of who opens the email, your open rate, who clicks on the email, your click rate, and then it keeps a running record of who has subscribed to each of the freebies.
So we've been talking about audience a lot. This is a common thread between a lot of our presenters over the past 2 days. And I think Luke even said, wow, yep, here we are. We're talking about audience again. And we love it because it's just this great in-your-face reminder that we really do need to know who our audience is. How did you go about, you talked about that you said moms, but then you narrowed your focus. Do you have a tip for new authors starting out on ways that they can really identify their targets?
Yeah. So I first think about what you like to write and what is your knowledge on. At first I was kind of writing all over the place, but then I realized, I really love writing about toddlers and how to calm tantrums and discipline strategies and positive parenting for them. And that's kind of how I narrowed it down. What I've kind of narrowed it down. What am I spending the most time thinking about, writing about, researching about? And then that's how I narrowed down my audience.
So Luke also has another question. He said that how often do you recommend posting a blog article?
That is whatever works best for your schedule, but whatever you pick, be consistent with it. So during the summer, I am able to probably do one once a week. But once I go back to teaching and coaching, I might only be able to do that once a month. And that's fine as long as you're consistent with it. You don't want to write like 5 blogs one month and then 0 the next month.
So always having yourself there in that presence. And when you do the blog, do you also use some of that same material, those topics when you're sending out your newsletters?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You definitely want to repurpose your material. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that. So because we are, the next question that I have too is because I know that some of the authors are still trying to build their email list or haven't even started their email list yet, and they're considering moving in that step. So talk about that consistency with the topics as you're going out and sharing, like Instagram to where you say, you live Pinterest, Instagram, to the newsletter, to your blogs. Talk about how you can repurpose.
So you kind of want to center something around your blog. So you write your blog, and then you can maybe take a snippet of it and do it as an Instagram post, or take a snippet of it and make a YouTube video. And then copy and paste it and put it in an email. So definitely, you definitely want to repurpose stuff from your blog so you're not writing all fresh new ideas every single time. You would be spending way too much time doing that.
So, and now this is going back to that question that I wanted for us to cover, because I did know that some of our authors, they don't have their email list yet. How would you recommend they get started, and how can they start populating a list?
So the first thing I would recommend is finding a site. I use ConvertKit, so signing up for that. And then what I did was I asked people to join. I asked friends to join. I asked family members to join. And even though they might not be my targeted audience, I just wanted to start building up the list and kind of getting comfortable sending out emails. So that's how I would recommend starting, is actually asking people to join.
And then we had someone in the comments, sometimes I'm afraid to make the ask, to just ask. So how did you overcome that? Did you have any of that initial at the beginning kind of thoughts like, how was that?
At first I thought, well, this is so weird. But then I kept listening to people who saying, just ask, just ask, just ask. And the more I heard it, the more I was like, oh, I guess this is not that weird. And it wasn't. It wasn't weird at all. No one was like weird about it. No one was turned off, and everyone did it. Don't be afraid to do it.
So another question that I had, when you were talking about each week, or you'll spend time looking at a video or researching about a particular platform, what are you really looking for when you're out there doing your research? Do you have any like keyword indicators that you're looking for to help build your knowledge?
I'm mostly just actually searching. Well, at first I searched like experts in Pinterest, and then I found some that I like, because having too many people, again, it can get overwhelming. So I have my favorite few that I watch or look at their material every week, or just find something that, one girl that I really like for Pinterest, she makes a new video every week and posts it on YouTube. So I just find like a couple that I like, a couple experts that I like in each area, and stick with their stuff.
Awesome. I love it. Loved all the tips and advice that you were giving. There's so much that we have to do now, guys, that we could Google out different platforms. We could learn about different types of freebies that go along with our genre. And so I really like how you've narrowed your focus. You're working with moms, parenting. You're doing the sign language work as well. What's next for you? You've got your book out. So are you the children's book? What's your kind of timeline for that? Do you have one that you want to share with us?
So I have all the illustrations. Actually, my former student is doing the illustrations. My book features a deaf character, and then my student who did the illustration is deaf. So I thought that was kind of special. It's almost all put together, and it should be out within the next month.
Oh, the next month, guys. Did you hear that? All right. So, Lauren, I want to have you on the podcast. I'm already trying to say, come. And when I cannot wait to get a copy of your book. Guys, I hope that you stick around. Thank you, Lauren. This was great.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
We really appreciate you spending the time with us today and sharing out all of your knowledge. We've got tons of further research to go and do. And stick around, guys, because at 3:00, we've got Jerry Helms, and she is going to be here from HarperCollins Christian Publishing, and she is going to be talking about marketing, SEO for Pinterest and YouTube. So cannot wait for her session. That's going to be hosted over at Michelle DeRosier's channel, but you just stay with us on the playlist. So, Tish said, thank you, Lauren. Great info. So, Lauren, thanks again, and I hope that you have a blessed day. Thanks, Lauren.